It's January, which means everyone is talking about goals and resolutions, and in particular, how hard they are to keep. But what if we actually look at the root cause of the problem, which is some boring goals that nobody actually cares about or knows how to achieve? Most of the goals I see fall into pretty predictable categories of save money, lose weight, read more, go travel. And none of those are bad goals, they're just boring. So I've been keeping track of some fun goals that I've seen as people are sharing what they do in different communities I'm in. And hopefully, this will inspire you to think a little bit outside the box to do something different with your goals this year. One goal I saw was to try a new cafe every month. That would be awesome. I live in a town with exactly one coffee shop. But have a weekly or monthly date night and try to do something new together. Another goal was to document all the different types of pasta this person was going to eat. One person had the goal to learn how to draw latte art that didn't end up looking phallic, which I think is a fun goal. Another had a list of all the free birthday giveaways that are in their city and wanted to hit all of them during their birthday month. Another common one, which I think is fun, is recipes I tried for the first time and really loved and want to make again. Another is new songs that I found and danced my face off to. A list of funny things that my kids said or thought about, and I want to remember. I've seen this tracker of can I pet that dog for seeing dogs if you're in a city and there's lots of pets around for you to see. Also, compliments that I gave other people or compliments that I received. Just a way to remember the positive things that are happening. And if you're giving compliments, maybe a way to challenge yourself to look for the good in others. Hikes I completed or parks that I visited. If you're on one of those national park quests, you could have that as a goal to add more to your list. Pounds of stuff I decluttered from my house that I no longer needed. For people who are into nail design, my favorite nail art of the year. If you're in an office, perhaps the best work lunches that were catered in this year. All the swims I had at the lake, the pool, the ocean this year. People I invited over or parties I threw in my place. Types of different beer that I tried. The intentional rest days that I took. Bubble baths I took. Days I spent out with the kids. Birds I saw, flowers I saw blooming, best gifts I received. You see, you can go so much further than boring goals. The pasta one cracks me up because someone was like, penne, spiral, spaghetti, what else is there? And then they found out there's like dozens of different pasta types. They want to try all of them. Now, some of these that I shared are obviously more like tracking things than they are like doing things and achieving things. You know, it's really hard to set a goal that other people will give you compliments. But the idea is if you keep your eyes open to positive, awesome things that are happening around you and not necessarily the things that you have to do that are onerous or boring, you might just, enjoy your life a little bit more. Now, let's look at those boring goals I shared in the beginning, because there are some ways to make them into something that you'll actually get done. But the trick, for me at least, is to not necessarily focus on, just checking a box at the result, but the process of getting there. So first is travel. You can make a list of all the places that you want to go and don't just, go to BuzzFeed and look at the top 10 hottest places that you have to travel. Actually consider what kind of experiences you like, what you'd love to see, and make a list based on your own desires. And then maybe set a savings goal and spend some time throughout the year researching. Well, if I did go to that city, what places would I want to see? Oh, if I went here, what kind of restaurants would I want to visit? And depending on how elaborate this trip is, how exotic or far away the destination is, you might be able to save up and go on that trip in a couple months, and it might be a year away. But the process of traveling is so much more than just getting the stamp in your passport, but is having the experience of something new and exploring what that would look like. Reading is a big goal. Now, something like 40% of Americans did not read a single book last year cover to cover. It's very depressing. But for those of us who are readers and want to read more, you don't just have to say, like, I want to read 100 books or 52 books or whatever your arbitrary number is. Do something that's focused on the action. So it could be, I'm going to set a goal to read 30 minutes every day. Or I'm going to put on an audiobook on my way home from work every day or while I'm on my walk. So instead of just saying like, well, I got to read all these books, try to incorporate it into the things that you're already doing. Now, another goal that so many people have this time of year is to lose weight. And I hate seeing these goals in something like the bullet journal community because typically that is an end goal as like a result of other work that you should have been doing. So if you're like, I'm going to lose weight and then you like are doing like the shots or surgery or whatever, yeah, you could get to that goal. But for most people, they need to be tracking the things that will help them lose weight. So that could be focusing on how many runs do I need to do each week, or how many steps do I want to track daily? How many times am I going to go lift at the gym? Or, what am I going to do nutrition wise? And really, all of those like mini goals are the positive habits that should naturally lead to the end result that you want. But if all you're doing is tracking the end result, you may not see a lot of change and it may be really frustrating. And then the last goal that I see a lot of people make is just, oh, I need to save money. And sometimes that correlates to like paying off debt or saving for a house or something like that. But if it's just like get better at money, it's vague and that's hard to make progress on. So the first thing is that you want to have a goal for your savings. Like I want to have a savings account. So if my boss fires me or my company shuts down or we go through a big recession, I have a bit of comfort knowing that I'm not going to be homeless. So have a goal. So it could be something like saving for a new vehicle, saving for a house, saving for retirement. But make sure there's some reason that's there. Because to me, it's a lot easier to say I'm saving for that awesome trip to Scotland than, well, I just have to put this money away because Dave Ramsey says so. Have a goal in mind and make sure it's something that you want or that you know you need and that's responsible. It may be hard to think about retirement, 50 years away, but think of, I want to have financial options so that I don't have to work till I'm 80. That's something you can get behind. And then you want to make sure that that goal is something that gets a bit automated. Now, not mindlessly so, but if you make a goal that every day on payday, you sit down, you pay your bills, and you put money into savings, it's more likely to get done than if you just said, well, I got to save money this year. And then there's a concert you want to go to, or there's a sale at your favorite clothing store, or you just went out to eat and had a great time. And then at the end of the month, you're like, oh, I don't have any money for savings. And repeat. You never actually reach your goal. So there's kind of two parts to this. One is you don't have to have the same boring goals as everyone else because everyone else says that they want to travel more and read more and blah, blah, blah. And you can have those goals, but make sure that if you are going to be doing them, you actually think about the process and the steps that need to happen for that to come true. And I saw this all the time as a business coach where people be like, I want more clients. I'm like, cool, that could be a goal, but what are you going to do to get there? Are you going to have a new product? Are you going to have a sale? Are you going to talk about it? And it boggled my mind, the number of clients who would say, well, gee, my small business, I need to take care of my kids and feed my family, and I need 4 new clients. I say, great. Have you told people they can hire you? No, I haven't done that. I'm scared. Okay, well, you're not going to get new clients like out of thin air. What are the actions you're going to take? And in the business world, it was often, well, I need new clients. Okay, you need to be marketing consistently because that's a lagging indicator. If you're marketing now, that might lead to a client in 6 months, but you also need to do things to put your message out there, your offers out there, to tell people how to pay you right now. And that's where a lot of business goals would fall down, is that the goal would just be like expansion, more sales, money, but not the strategies to get there. So whether you're doing this kind of goal setting in your personal life or your business life, make sure that you're not just following the leader wherever they think that you should go, but you're setting goals that are meaningful for you, even if they're about pasta. And if you are setting goals that have like a big like end point, that you start to think about the steps before the end point that you're going to need to take in order to get there successfully.